All right, to pull the starter, of course, first you gotta take the wheel off, and then you got an inner lining in here. You need to pull that off, and then you can get to the starter. You can see it right there. So these bolts are 14 millimeter. So I got a ratchet on there, and then what we're gonna do is put a bar on that and bust that loose. And once I got that loose, I'm going to use an air ratchet to get the rest of the way off. You could do it with a regular ratchet, but I mean, you don't have a lot of room to move it. It's going to take a little bit longer. And then here I'll set up to do the upper bolt. Okay, now I used a deep well 14 millimeter on the ratchet, and was able to get in there. I'm coming in, see all these pipes and stuff. I'm coming in a lot of times from over here, then I can get back my hand back up in there. And this starter wasn't on real tight. I was able just to get both my fingers in there and push down pretty hard, and it busted it loose. But if it fits on there pretty tight, you're gonna have to sit there and kind of turn the socket until you can get it on there and have the handle set up kind of like that, so you can kind of push this out of the way and get a bar on it to break it loose. Another thing that might come in handy is if you can get one of those ratchets where the handle kind of pivots, so you can pivot the handle out this way a little bit more so you can get a bar on it. But surprisingly, this was pretty easy for how old the truck was. Okay, so I'm gonna get that bolt out, and then that bolt, I just got it loosened up, so I gotta use the air ratchets on those to get them out. Alright, next step. Okay, so we gotta get this wire off right here. Or take that nut off. That's the main power coming from the battery. And then we got this, we got disconnect. Alright, this might be a little hard to see, but I mean, this is the bell housing. This is right here. It's where the starter came out. The starter's right here. So to get this out, we're just gonna kind of move it around. Let's kind of slide it out the back here. There we go, I just had to lift it up there a little bit. There we go, it's dropped out. Okay, we'll get a little better look. It was just right there. It didn't take much, just had to kind of move it back and forth to wiggle it, you know, around that, but it wasn't that difficult. So we'll just put the starter back, the new starter back in, same way we took it out. Okay, here's the replacement starter I was sent. I got this from Rock Auto, and as you can see, it doesn't look anything like the old one. This is what they sent me for a 97 Nissan with a 2.4 liter in it. I've ran into this before back when I was working on forklifts. We'd get these, you know, aftermarket generic starters, whatever, replacements, and they didn't look anything like the originals, but they still worked. So I guess we're gonna see if that's the same thing here. Hopefully. Okay, was able to get it in. To get it in, had to come, there's like a little, right there, see that little bracket tab? Actually, it came up above that right here, then dropped it down, and then I kind of had to finagle it, and it was definitely tougher. I had to kind of muscle it to get it in there. It wasn't too bad though. But I got the bolts in, the bolt holes line up. So, I mean, even though it doesn't look the same as the old one, hopefully it'll work. Find out, I'll get this tightened up. I got the connections hooked back up, so I just gotta tighten these bolts down and then see if it turns over. Okay, I got the starter and I got the bolts tightened up. Here's something that actually helped. It's what they call a wobble extension. You can see how the socket wobbles on there, so it lets you get in a little bit of an angle. This is actually one I got from Harbor Freight. I got some other ones I got from Napa, and then some from Snap-on. They actually let it wobble quite a bit more than this one, but this one worked good for putting the starter back in. Just let you get in there as just at an awkward angle, and that let it pivot just enough to where you get on there and tighten them up. So that's a good investment. These things come in handy all the time, and you can get them different lengths. So we got it all hooked up, so let's see if it works. Yep. Sounds good. Perfect.